Okay, we'll go back into open session. It's Tuesday, July 16th, 2024. We've got a lot of emails that have gone back and forth that we've received from Eric and concerning the Kaufman subdivision, Thorndike Drive situation.
Thornridge.
Thornridge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Want to make sure we get the right street
Yes.
after all this.
Do you want to start, Eric, or do you want?
I can give a
speak?
real quick summary and then let them hash forward.
Speak.
So they're coming to the commission to express some concerns about the condition of Thorn Ridge Drive. Thorn Ridge Drive, along with a section of Murray and Sheridan, have not been accepted by the county yet. And it's, the road conditions have never been to our standard. And when it was first constructed in 2021, the crux of the issue is normally the contractors will finish the pavement in the fall, late fall of the year, and it goes into a procedural acceptance. It's a 1-year interim and then a full acceptance. And the contractor working for the developer, when they laid the asphalt, they laid the base layer first. Normally come back the next day, and they left that afternoon saying they would not be back till the spring. Okay. We didn't really have any leverage over that. It was just between the contractor and the developer, and from that point on led to a systematic, issues of not being able to get them back to finish it. And I sent you all a timeline of events of how it transpired, and the residents out there obviously have some concerns about that, and I think I'll turn it over to you all, and you can share your issues and take it from there.
Okay.
Could you repeat that date, that the one day that was done, and then the next day it didn't show up? What were those 2 days?
It was, Matt, we pinpointed that exact date.
November 30th, I thought.
It's not right.
November 30th, yes.
November
Yes.
30th of 21.
Here's-
Okay. Got it, okay.
And we do have specific standards, and of course, the top layer of the asphalt has to be down before we'll accept the road to our system.
We understand that. I'm Laura Elwood. I'm trying to represent our neighborhood a little bit, mainly because I have a lot of issues close to my home. And having spoke to several of the neighbors, we've got some real issues out there trying to drive on our street. We're here today to ask that all building be stopped. No more building out there, because all they're doing at this point is crushing the road even worse. Murney Street is now affected. I have pictures for you today with giant pieces of equipment out there, and now that road started crushing up. We can't get into our homes without driving through. It's so bad they had to put gravel in one pothole. It was so deep.
2 of them.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So Kaufman put the gravel in the.
We
don't
assume
know.
he did, because I've spoke to him several times. I fell out. Our driveways are this much higher than the street, because it's all settled and cracked up. I fell, a neighbor has fallen with her dogs, sprained her ankle, trying to even walk her dogs. So we're to the point, we just want everything stopped until everything is addressed and fixed. I've had the county, the city, there's issues all over the place out there. And hate to say this, but it seems like Mr. Kaufman's been afforded some leeway in what he's gotten done. According to the pavement company, November 30th, December through March, they can stop because pavement will crack. It's too cold. So they told Mr. Kaufman that. Well, he continued to build homes on that pavement, or on that sub-pavement out there, and those big trucks have crushed everything. And then they've crushed water lines under homes with that big truck. So now we've got water issues. I've got standing water in a gully next to my home that the counties came out and looked at and instructed him he had to get piping 40 feet out. Be glad to show you pictures. It's standing there. It's been standing there for a year with scum and mosquitoes on it every summer. Still not fixed. He came and dropped the pipes and then he left. That was 3 weeks ago.
He being Mr. Kaufman.
Mr. Kaufman. So the city's been after him, the county's been after him, and now we're pleading to you all, and I understand everybody keeps telling us that, well, that's his problem. Well, okay, that is his problem, but I want to know who issued the building permits, because per your regulations and rules, no building permits are to be given until the streets are done and paved. And in the instance where the pavement, winter hits, like supposedly happened with us, there should have been money put in an escrow account to cover the total cost of that road to be completed come spring. Well, nobody will tell me where the escrow account is. Nobody will tell me if there was a letter of credit. All we keep getting is, well, we're arguing with the pavement company. Sir, I'm sorry, we don't care. We've built $300,000 to $500,000 homes out there and can't drive down our street. I mean, you're like this, trying to get, you've seen it. It's horrendous. The Mayo people are even complaining about how bad it is. We need some help out there. We need the water situations fixed. I'm to the point where the county told me they had a liaison with DNR. They came out and said that area running by my house was a total violation. It's a health risk. Everything we've asked for out there goes from one person to another person to another person, and nothing ever gets fixed. So we're here today to ask you, someone, to make him stop, because we think the only way he's going to understand that things have to be fixed is if he quits taking all the money. And again, I'd like to know who's issuing these building permits. It's against the rules and regulations. The planning department's rules strictly state that that road has to be paved from end to end and not just an underlayment unless winter hits and there's money in an escrow account to cover it come spring. Well, that was 2021, sir. It's
Yeah.
2024.
So one of our rules say they have to be a paved road, because we've got subdivisions with private roads
Again, I'd
that
like
are
to, yeah.
gravel. And I see what the email that you sent with that referring to,
I understand that as well, but it also states in your rules and in their rules and regulations, if it's a private road, it should be on our plats. We should have known this before we were ever building homes out there.
It wasn't intended to be a private road.
It's not
Right, I
designed to be a
Right.
private
I
road.
don't
And there's,
disagree with that, but that's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Yeah.
Where,
and I
we
have to
go with
say,
this.
my biggest issue is after I finally called and said, we need to set a meeting to get something done because we're just going in circles here. 5 hours after I got this meeting approved, 2 signs go up at the end of the street saying this road is not accepted by the county. It's like,
Totally coincidental.
it's like, who's covering whose tail here? Come on, guys. It's like, really? You're gonna try to cover tracks with 2 signs? No, that's not acceptable to us either.
And may I add something to that? I just moved in April 15th, right? I closed on that. If I would have known that there were issues, I would not have signed off and closed on the property.
None of us would have.
There are 3 houses under contract. They should be informed of the problems.
Sir, we can't get our
Prior
road,
to closing.
we can't even get our road cleared. They stopped on the street behind us and halfway down Murney clearing roads. We have to watch the snowplow go by.
I live on Kenview, and the snowplow goes by before I even open my eyes in the morning. And Thorn Ridge is the next street over, and the snowplow doesn't go there.
I'm not so sure an ambulance would come to us. And if they did, they'd had a hard time putting an IV in somebody on that mess.
Is Kenview in play here too? or
No,
is
it-
that
no.
just-
No, but I
There's a
moved
few
on to
issues.
Kenview before Thorn Ridge even existed. I've lived there 3.5 years, so we even noticed when they had finished Thorn Ridge that it just didn't look like the street we had, where it was built up. We didn't have the big drop-offs and everything, so.
Is the current builder on the 3 residences under construction, is that? Mr.
Well, you've got
Paul?
Zumwalt, no, that's our other
Half a dozen
issue.
different
He's got
buildings
6
out
or
there.
7 builders out there, and they're not following the regulations either. I've taken pictures. You ought to see what our road looks like today. They are out there, there's gravel, there's dirt, there's nails. I personally have put a new set of tires on my car
did
because I
too.
came home with 2 screws. She did too. We can't even pull out of our driveways without you're in something. I had to shovel gravel and mud to get to my mailbox on my street. It's just,
the man house right there.
yeah. It's just everything that he was told to do. The city told him he had to raise the manhole in my yard 12 inches because I have Olympic-sized swimming pools now where he graded the lot next door. That was June 5th that the city went down and told him to get that raised. Well, here we are, July 16th, and he's done nothing. So every time it rains, I got a swimming pool. And it's supposed to be, when I talked to him about these builders building out here, when they go to grade a lot, they're dumping on people's homes. They just grade it and it dumps. Some of the pictures you should see on my phone, and I will be glad to share these with you or email them to you. I mean, we're talking, I can't mow the right corner of my back lawn. I cannot mow it for 4 weeks after a heavy rain because it's just holding swimming pool size water from where the builder graded the house, the new house next to me. And I've asked him about it, and he says, I'll take a look at it. Well, again, that was 2 months ago, and nothing's done.
This is Mr. Kaufman.
Well, it's his builder Mr. Kaufman said it's the builder's responsibility when they don't. Like I said, they all point fingers. And the builders said, well, Mr. Kaufman's good to us. Well, it's our understanding that's because they use his credit to buy their supplies and stuff, and they don't have to pay him back until a home's paid for. So there's some great sweethearting going on there. Which, okay, that's fine, but take care of the problems that they've created, and he blames them, and they blame whoever. Well, the city shouldn't have approved it. Well, the county shouldn't have approved it.
Well, Michael, I got a quick question. How's the city's involvement here? You mentioned city several times.
Yep, I had this, because they're over our sewer out there.
Yeah,
That's
water-
the issue,
Yeah,
is the
yeah.
sewer.
So I've literally
When you
had.
talked about the manhole, it's a sewer line?
Mm-hmm. And it's underwater. And what started all this is, I was talking to some neighbors, I said, I got these little black bugs all in my master bath. And I was spraying, doing everything, thinking, where in the world are these things coming from? And having talked to my neighbors around me, nobody else had them. So I called Arts Pest Control and said, I need you to come out and spray. It's just in my master bath. And I told her what they look like, and she said, those are springtails. And I said, oh, well, can you come spray for these springtails? And she said, no, they're nuisance pests, that we could spray all we want, they're still gonna keep coming back. Do you have standing water? And I said, yes, I do. And she said, that's it. So I started calling. I called and said, hey, we gotta get this sewer line manhole raised because it's huge around there. So the city came out, and he was so kind, and he looked at it, and he stringed it off. It's 12 inches below grade level. That's why it's holding all the water. That's a foot. So now I got bugs in my bathroom that I've been fighting, and my house is new.
So I'm gonna go back to, when did we start making them, saying they couldn't get a building permit until the road is constructed? I mean, if it's gonna be a private drive,
It was
They
never a
can do
private
it.
drive.
it's still a private drive.
Well, but I'm saying it was
Not
not
the
signed
intent.
off as a private drive. It's supposed to be on our
They-
plat, per your
They can
regulations.
plat it as a subdivision, but then I didn't know we had to have all the roads in before you can start building on.
Says right here that it has
on
to
the-
be.
Well, I've got the 4.8 construction of streets and alleys for public maintenance. I've got
Yeah.
that section.
I believe I
And
sent
that's-
that.
So how do they start any other subdivisions without having to comply with that? Is there a difference? What makes this different from other
It
ones?
says that all the streets and alleys have to be constructed through the entire block for building is
Yeah,
to begin.
I got that. So,
So I can talk a little bit. I didn't want to interrupt while you all were speaking. And if you got anything, anybody else has anything else to add, please do so before I kind of go into a little bit of this, maybe some history behind it. So is there anything else anybody wants?
So, just a quick point. So, Kenny Kaufman, the owner of the land, did the initial
Development.
build of the, moving dirt around for builders to build on. Once that's done, it's up to the builders to then finish
Grading.
grading to make things right. So we had to sue our builder because he left standing water. He put in a French drain. So our house flooded, and this
Before
is
we ever moved
Kenview.
in.
So we don't have the street issue, but we have issues related to builders not properly grading the lot so it doesn't flood. And we had our garage flood prior, prior to moving in. It was like the day, 2 days before we moved up here from Texas. And so he put a French drain, but it never worked. So I had to sue him in small claims court here in Jeff City to get him to, try to make it right. We've just recently had another person come out and install a French drain that seems to be working right now. But,
I would
so
think
it's,
so.
the drainage with the houses is, part of the whole thing about, there's, again, half a dozen at least different builders out here, and they're not preparing the lots correct. And do lots get inspected by anybody? Nope. Okay, so.
One of our neighbors is actually supposed to be here, and she may still come in, but she's having a new floor put in her 1-year-old home because water came in her master bedroom.
I received a call from somebody yesterday who couldn't make this meeting, but we talked.
Mhm.
So let me talk a little bit, and bring everybody, up to speed on kind of where this happened. So, I've been at the county almost 19 years. I've never had this happen before, so this is a new experience for us, okay? We've had issues with contractors not completing the road, finishing like ditches, and maybe there's some pipes that weren't fixed right or something. We run into that occasionally, but not with the road going on like this. So this is a new experience. Getting back to the issue of building permits being issued when they shouldn't have. We have, yes, you're correct, the 1999, which has not been updated since.
No, it has not. It's still on their
It-
website.
It states that we will not issue permits until the road is completed, okay? We've, over the years, as long as I've been here, we have granted a few permits just for contractors. Sometimes there can be a little delay on some finish up things and
Sure.
whatever. And so we got maybe a little lax in starting to allow that, just kind of a internal policy in which we would allow that. So when the contractor walked off, if you want to call it that, after laying the base layer, we were all with the understanding that they would come back in the spring.
Mhm.
And at about the time they would come back to pave, there started some failures of that subgrade, or the base started to happen.
Because Kenny wouldn't stop the trucks from being on it.
Right, yeah, and that's for the, some of that may have happened anyway, we don't know, and they're arguing that between the two of them. At that point, we should have said, we're not gonna issue any more permits, and, we're at fault of that.
Thank you.
100%.
That's all we wanted to hear.
100%. That lies with me, I'm the director, so I take full responsibility for that. We can't change what's happened and going forward, other than let's get the road paved and move on. And we're working, the developer understands that. We've had communications with the asphalt contractor the past couple weeks. They understand that. Unfortunately, it may come down to more legal issues
That could
between
take
the two.
years. I'm in the legal profession. We don't have years.
Yes,
We've waited
correct.
3 years.
So, as far as, how do we get this resolved?
Stop
I
all
think we just stop any future development or growth. of the-
Stop everything
Money.
now.
What's going on right
Stop
now.
I
what's-
don't know, I
Even
mean,
the houses
if the
that are
contractor
in-
got a permit, I don't know that
Yeah,
we
but
can
it's
just.
faulty.
It's not a
You just
right
said you're at
permit.
fault that
We
you
got,
shouldn't have
yeah, we have to
issued the
wait to get
permit.
into our homes, and now
They need to
Murray's
stop
torn up.
everything until it's fixed. If
I'll
you
show
get in
you
their
what's at the
wallet,
end of
you're
our
gonna get
street
their
this
attention.
morning. You would die if you saw it. And now that street has a huge pile where it's all come up. We can't get across. Oh.
I drove through yesterday, I know, and it's,
It's
Did you see those giant trucks sitting there on the street?
there's some at the end of Murney and.
You put about 4 feet of gravel in the,
Holes.
Oh, it's a
Yeah, and there are.
The only way you're gonna get their attention is stop all the
Okay.
building.
Well,
Let
and-
me
and there-
finish. We're getting
Oh,
a lot
sorry.
of back and forth here. Just let me finish. I'm not done yet. So, when we started issuing building permits, so the county doesn't have any zoning. We just have,
That's crazy.
we have a building code or regulation for developing a subdivision. And we do have building codes, we do building permits, but there's no zoning in the county. It was voted on back about 10 years ago, and it failed 65-35 or something. So there's no zoning, which gets into some other issues that maybe you encounter that we have no jurisdiction over, okay? But we do have jurisdiction over accepting the road into our system, and it has to be to our standards.
Mhm.
We won't accept it. You know, going forward, how do we get the issue resolved? I think the only thing that we can do, I don't know that we can legally say a contractor got a permit, everything fine, just stop them right then. and there.
How are you gonna get their attention? You haven't got their attention in 3 years. The
But
only way
they're
you're
not
gonna get
looking
their.
For the developer, they got a separate permit with us.
I understand, but again, somebody's gotta be responsible for them tearing up the road. It's just getting worse. It's got to stop until it's fixed. And maybe if somebody got in their pockets a little bit, things might move along. Kenny told me point blank, well, why should I spend the $140,000 to fix the road? I'm like, sir.
Yeah, it's
I-
his responsibility.
It is your responsibility to do this. I bought a home with the understanding, and I was told specifically that this road would be fixed. I've been here a year. It's not fixed.
Is there another road that is slated to go?
Behind us, yeah.
So
There's
that
another
will be
road
a
he's-
problem, right?
Well, we won't, it has not been approved yet.
Don't approve it, please.
So there are other lots that are.
They're trying to build
gonna be
another
in the
road behind
subdivision.
it.
There's another phase that he's, it's gone through
Has that been
planning.
through planning already?
Yeah, the plat's been approved, but the road plans haven't yet. So, and they can't start construction until the road plans are approved.
Now, when that goes through, are you gonna make him put the road in its entirety before you build one house?
So, again, going back to maybe some deficiencies of this document here in our whole process of getting the permit, we've just recently, we went live 1st of May. We have a new permitting process, and it's web-based, and no permit will be granted.
I took an
without
application with
the road
me.
being done.
Mhm.
So, and the review process is a lot different.
I
We
would
were-
suggest you update this, because this is what people look at to find out why
I know.
you're not doing what you're supposed
and
to be
it's-
doing.
It's way out of date, and,
But that's what we live and die by. Those
I
are
know,
your
I know.
rules.
you know,
I'm not trying to be disagreeable, but you can only blame Kenny so long because you all approved the road. Who approved
we
the?
approved the plans.
Right.
We haven't approved the road yet. It's not built
Well,
to our
we
standards.
understand, but
Make sure we
he,
all understand
he
that.
did not follow the plans, which
He
again,
did follow the plans.
well, where's the money in escrow?
We haven't required that. Again, that's another thing that we just over time, and we're, you know, and I'll just speak for us as Cole County in general, we try to be reasonable and easy to work with. And like I said, we've never had these issues. It's never, sometimes, you know, the handshake agreement type, you know, it works fine, and it's always worked fine until we get to an issue, so.
Yeah, it's just not acceptable anymore.
No,
I mean,
I
he's
agree.
in somebody's pocket about some things, and I think I told you on the phone, I moved here from Springfield and was from the county, and I did not want to believe when neighbors told me that he had the council and the city and everybody in his.
Let's put that in right now.
I know, I understand
And
that.
so Don't even circulate that, because it is inaccurate.
He said that.
Well,
To me
he's-
personally.
You tell him
He
to
is
call me
nuts.
and ask him where he got that.
That's why I would like that to be addressed, because that's what he's.
I have never spoken to him. so-
Thank you. Well,
I
that's what
know
he
what-
told me to
I
my
would know
face,
him if he
with
walked
her
in.
standing right there. He said, well, then I just won't donate them any more land, is
Yeah,
exactly
he
what
did
he
say
said.
that.
Well,
I witnessed it.
We are.
Okay, that's where sometimes builders give the right of way to a street. They donate it, okay,
Sure.
fine. But we don't get any, I mean, I don't get anything. out
I'm
of
just
that.
telling you, that's what he's telling people, so it
So
puts,
I just
Can
have a
I,
quick.
can I explain what that is? So.
I understand your
um,
right of ways and stuff, but people
Part of our-
don't get it.
Part of our requirements for building a subdivision, there's stormwater requirements, and he has to, as per the regulations, which we do follow that, do stormwater detention. So he has to detain all the on-site water, or extra stormwater that he's creating, detain that and let it out to mimic pre-site development, okay? So downstream of that, he has to do that. We have a project going on downstream, let me finish, okay? And it's in the Westview Heights subdivision. And we are working with Ken to expand the size of that detention basin that he has to build. And with that, he donates the land or conveys it as right-of-way or easement for that. There's an additional one we're working on through the ARPA stormwater runoff control projects. That's
This-
what he's referring to.
This is what's sitting beside my house this morning. This has been sitting here for 2 months.
This
My grandkids
computerized
live in our
application you
backyard.
have for
So-
building permits, is there
It's set
a
there
hard
for over a
stop
year.
if
It's
they
disgusting,
give
and
you
it
the
gets
address, the where they want the
And
lot
then
is,
instead of flowing
and that
out, it
road's
just
not
gets
been
dry.
approved, is there a
It's
hard
all-
stop
it just
that won't let them go any further to even obtain a building permit?
Somebody in our office has to review and check, yes, we issued a permit.
Okay, so it would be nice if it was built in though, so when they go to apply for a permit, if they put the lot number that's associated with the street and it's not been approved by the county, it's a hard stop. You cannot go. That saves you guys the trouble of reviewing a permit that may not be good and takes the subjectivity out of who gets issued the permit. So it'd be nice if there was a hard stop there that says, oops, this street's not been approved, I can't issue it right now.
So the system is tied to our GIS system, and it's not, we're still building
It's not
some of
that
the
smart
GIS.
yet.
It's a flag in GIS, so it'll click into GIS, and when it sees something that's not there, then it won't go any further. So that's something that isn't there yet, but it could be,
Well, my question to you is, when you all came out, you had a representative there, I had you there, I had the county there, I had the city there, health department there. I was told that that was a DNR violation, the water running beside my house, setting stagnant, it's not running beside my house. And everybody went down and talked to Kenny and gave him a couple weeks to get stuff done. That was June 5th.
He bought the pipes and delivered them.
I think he was gonna do that anyway, as part of his, future development, he was gonna extend the
Well,
time.
3 years after the fact, it says it right on here that there's to be a 40-foot extension. 3 years after this was approved, it still wasn't done.
So we got to this point. I got like 3 things that we have problems with. Number one, the road's not done.
So-
And I don't know if it's getting done or where it's at in the process, and they may have been saying it's getting done for 2 years, it's still not made it anywhere. Then I heard you say something about construction cleanup, which I've never had anybody call me and complain and say somebody's not cleaning up after themselves, but we've done that in the past in other areas. We've called them and said, clean up your mess. And then the stormwater issue. So I don't know if we need to do these one at a time, because
Oh, we got
the
one
road
more, too.
issue.
But we got a little bit more.
Yeah, we got one more too. We want to talk about the grading, what's causing the water runoff. so-
That's a stormwater issue.
Okay.
I think would probably fall in there
I
together.
would hope that
I would
somebody's
think.
speaking to him about that. And then the
So-
last one we want to talk about is we've called, it's my understanding that there's a couple houses on Murney Street that the health department has been called on for 2 solid years. Again, I love how people get dipped in the grease, because when I called, I said, listen, I did a wellness check to begin with. I called my, daughter-in-law's cop, and I hadn't seen these people move. Their trash can hasn't moved, and the house is full of weeds and grown over. Well, they're hoarders. They're perfectly fine. The health department, when I called them, said they'd been out there so many times in the last 2 years, and he said, to be quite honest with you, some of the commissioners like old cars. And I said, what?
I like old cars, but my cars are.
That's what I
immaculate
said.
and they're
That's what I
bright
said.
and
I
they're-
said, sir, I'm
so-
pretty sure old cars do not
I don't
apply
think
with
you
a
would take these.
1975 pickup truck.
We have a
that's-
couple old cars for you if you're interested.
I need a bigger garage, is what I need to say.
These cars are flat tired.
On Murney.
They haven't been licensed in 2 years. There's weeds growing through them.
Are
The
they on
weeds,
Are they on the road or just in the yard?
they're in their yard.
They're in
but
the
again,
driveway, and then there's
They're not
one on the
licensed.
side of the house in the yard.
These again are your guys' rules and regulations.
I haven't heard
And
anything
it
from the
says
health
they
department
have-
if we've had them go out there to investigate us.
That's what they
health
told me.
violations. So we'd have to check with the health department to see if there's been a complaint.
When we recently did Todd Court, wasn't this the other one?
I'm sure.
I'm sorry, Star, that was Star, okay.
Okay.
Well, bottom line, again, rules and regulations, these are ordinances. So do we pick and choose what ordinances we follow? These guys, their vehicles haven't been licensed. It's supposed to be, if they want to have abandoned vehicles, and they have 3, there's one on the side of the house as well. They're supposed to be covered, completely covered. That's not
They are
happening.
covered with
And they're not
weeds.
like.
Yeah, they got weeds.
So,
So are they
I mean, we
paying
need to
personal
look into that
property
one and see if
tax?
that's
They're
even
not
been
licensed.
reported.
So what is
I
that
don't have
address?
anybody that's called me.
I've got pictures. It's 1311 Murney.
So-
And then right
You know,
next
And
door.
there's even residents out there, me included, that would be willing to help anybody clean up to a meet code, you know?
Yeah.
It's not like because we want that street to look good
I was
because it
doing a
comes
wellness
to our
check
new
thinking somebody was dead
subdivision.
in there.
Yeah, I was worried about wellness check myself.
Yeah, I mean, it's just bad. And then the house next door, this guy got real ugly. He's a junk collector. And I was told he kept his trailer in the street, and there were old appliances sitting in it with fans and things. And I called the health department. I said, you know, it's May. The kids are starting to get out and run around. This guy's got spray paint cans on his driveway. He's got paint cans. He's got propane. He's got all these old parts in this trailer. Some little kid's gonna get hurt. And so they made him move it into his driveway. So now he's got old cabinets out there with 9-inch nails sticking out the tops of all of them that are so rusted, not covered, not anything. It's just, again, there's just so many violations. And he said, we've been trying to get this fixed for 2 years.
Some of that's not violations though, because we don't have zoning. I mean, like I said, it was on the ballot. We
Okay.
tried to run it through. So
But
there's
okay,
only
what
so
about
much
the
we can
cars?
But
do
it's
with it. I
still
got
an
people with,
ordinance, right? You still follow an ordinance, don't you?
Well, yeah, we've got some powers when it comes to health issues, you know.
Right.
We've got standing water, that's mosquito.
Vehicle nuisance is one of your health issues.
Rat harborage.
They love that.
Yeah.
They love that.
Yep, and there's snakes, all kinds of
You know,
stuff.
Within the last month or two, we've ordered abatement. In other words, if they don't fix it, we'll fix it for them. It'll be on their next tax.
Can we do that with the
So we
street?
got some of that going. I was gonna look up 1311 Murray to see if that's in our queue with our health department. Have
Okay.
they been there? Have they given them a list of things they have to cure and given them time? to
I
cure?
asked
don't
for
know.
that, sir. I even filed a sunshine request to say, can we just see, the guy is telling me that this has been reported for 2 years,
Did you
and
get a response on the sign?
they said that that would be up to the developer on the rainwater and the nuisance
Who
for
told you that?
some gal over at, I don't know who she was.
Well,
I
was it the health department or?
I called, I can't think of her name. I've got it on my phone. She said that I needed to, next time, to reach out to the clerk's office, and I said, well, I'm sorry, ma'am, I did reach out to them, and they gave me your number,
He's the
so.
custodian of records. So
Gotcha.
Whatever records the county has, he's the official
Yeah, well, they
custodian.
told me I'd have to get with the developer on all these things, and I said, this does not make sense. And I told the girl, I said, she's a new gal, she gave me your telephone number, and she says, oh my, that's a problem. So.
Well, that's almost I won't say a side issue, but we need to go down Bernie Street and cure that.
Thank you. Our other question too is,
Dead trees,
yeah,
cars
we've
parked.
got cars on that same street that are all parking the wrong direction.
They do that in Jefferson City too.
Oh,
I've-
my
I've talked
gosh.
to our
Well-
chief, you know, and then we have some without tags on them, we have some, and it's,
those are sheriff's department issues there, I think,
yeah,
though,
that's,
right?
Okay, because you
Yeah.
can't pull out of the neighborhood because you can't see. There's a house on the corner and he has lots of pull
I mean, if
parties,
it's a
which
parking
good for
violation,
him.
that would,
it's, yeah.
But he's
It's-
parked this way, so you can't see. They got him on this side of their house and this side of your house, so you can't see to get out around to turn.
I got a pretty good list here of things. Let me just go through them.
Okay.
Can
So-
I add one more
Yeah,
thing
go
to
ahead.
your list, please? Okay, I live on Kenview Street, and my lot backs up to a gully and a bunch of trees. The trees are dead and they're diseased, and I've called Kenny, and Kenny's like, oh, I don't own the lot. So I found out Turk Construction owns them, and I called him, and I said, I'm concerned about the trees, they're dead. I'm afraid they're gonna fall on my house. I have a 2-story house, and he's like, well, I have insurance. And I go, well, what are you gonna do at the gully? Are you gonna put like a pipe in there, like, you know, for the water drainage? And he said, they clog up. And that was the end of the conversation. So it's like, those are the only 2 lots, and I know he's very
You're on Kinview and your yard backs up to what?
trees and a
I know,
gully.
but
I'm
what-
5427
So there's a
Kenview.
gully,
And it's
Thorn
about
Ridge
8 feet deep.
and Kenview, so the house is on her side, there's a big gully, that's got trees lining that gully.
Dead and.
So you got the houses on Thorn Ridge behind you.
Right.
Well, there's 2 lots behind my
Okay.
house that haven't been developed
probably
yet.
won't be developed till the street
Because
gets
Turk was
fixed.
building the Orscheln's house, and so it could be a few years. But anyway, it's not maintained, those lots are not. Of course, the weeds are 6 foot tall.
Yeah, our weeds
There's
are bad.
snakes, I've seen snakes in my backyard. Then that gully, that just attracts all kinds of stuff.
And when you drive through there, look at all the vacant lots with weeds that are as tall as me almost.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, somebody needs to chop them down.
Let me go through all these. Some, hopefully you'll have some or we can get some resolution. Some, you're probably not gonna like what I'm gonna tell you, but that's just the way it is. So, the road itself, that is our responsibility to work with the developer and the contractor to get that done. Again, it's not into our system, but, you know, because of our failures to, you know, stop the permitting process and allow those to go through, I think we need to work to come to some resolution as soon as possible. Okay, that's number one. And you have.
What's as soon as possible?
Well, we can't physically make them do it.
Because-
Well, it
So
says you
that's-
can
I mean,
fine
it's
them, and
been
it
how
says
many
you can
years?
prosecute them, right here in your
Yeah, we can
rules. You
throw
can
'em.
send the city, or the county prosecutor after him.
That we'd have to talk to legal about that.
But let's
to
go all
see.
the way
But
to
let's,
felon.
yeah, no,
Okay.
let's not get sidetracked here. So, whoever has issues with their yard, whether it wasn't graded right, I heard, some homes got flooded, had to replace floors, due to the yard not graded or something like that. That's between the property owner and their builder, okay? Or 2 property owners if one property's dumping water on the other. That's completely a civil matter. We have no jurisdiction there, period. The sewer issue, if the sewer manhole lid or whatever's too low, that's the sewer department issue. They have jurisdiction out there. The city sewer system expands out into the county in several areas.
Sure.
And we don't inspect their stuff as it's being put in. Now, we might be out there looking at the roads when they're being done, and if there's a sewer crossing, there might be some coordination with the city sewer department. But that ultimately is the sewer department's responsibility to require that or whatever. And I don't know exactly what their process is for accepting a sewer into their system. It might be similar to ours. It might be just when it's done, they accept it. We have a 1-year interim period for the snow removal only, and then we accept it after that year is over, when everything's 100%. Because sometimes a contractor will have the road done, curbs done, pavements done, but there might be some yard grading and things like that, or some right-of-way grading or things like that that still have to be done, and we accept it on a 1-year interim period, knowing that there's some finish-up work that would take place over the winter and into the next spring. Cleanup, issues with the Murney Street, and all the properties, that's a health department issue. And that, I think now that the commission understands that, there can be more coordination with the health department on that to know exactly what that is, and they can resolve that. Parking issues, parking of trailers for extended time periods, cars parked the wrong way, or inoperable cars on the road. That's a law enforcement issue, and it's normally complaint driven. If we get a complaint, we turn it over to the sheriff's department and they investigate it and pursue
We're
that.
complaining.
Yeah.
We've
And
got to
that's,
complain.
I see the Cole County Sheriff out there all the time, so it wouldn't be a big deal to run out in front of their car.
And they park right at the curb, like, she
Stop
almost got
sign.
hit the other day. So what if we just paint those
We
curbs
can
yellow?
do that.
We've done that.
We can do that.
You know,
That's-
don't,
Traffic and safety.
because she almost got hit. because
She was in the car when we couldn't see it.
I'm like, oh, that's on my side.
We can do things like that. There, by the county traffic code, parking is not allowed within 30 feet of the radius of it at an intersection.
Okay.
Again, this is something that you're just not gonna catch all the time. And if we
Gotcha.
see it being a problem, then the sheriff's department can address it. I think you mentioned a goalie or trees and whatever behind your yard or whatever. That's a civil matter between you and the neighbor, whoever owns the property. The county doesn't have any regulation to address that.
It's not yeah, it's his lot.
Yeah, but again, that's his responsibility.
So can I stop you there?
Well,
Then
his
why is it
cousin-
in your regulations that you manage the stormwater, that you don't issue permits until these things are all taken care of?
What page is that? 5.
Section 510, storm sewers and other drainage opportunities.
30 here. What's that? 30 units, okay. So,
No building permit is to be issued
So
until
what
those
if-
things are done.
What if someone else owned that lot besides Turk Construction?
That has to do with this too.
Yeah.
so
Seems to
there's-
me, building permits were issued and a lot of things were not addressed.
There's storm drainage easements on plats. You probably see them on your plat copy, okay?
That's what's running right next to my house.
Those are, in some cases, required for getting water to drain away from pipes, okay? Now, it states in the regulations that storm drainage facilities located within a subdivided lot and common land areas shall be the maintenance responsibility of the abutting property owners or subdivision trustees.
Or the trustees of the subdivision. But again, no permit was to be done until those things were addressed and done. That's part of
Okay.
the infrastructure.
Okay.
So again, to me, that falls on you guys. You issued the permit, and that's not done.
The permit for the home, is that what you're talking about?
The
Building a
permit,
home?
yeah, permit for any building out,
That-
any
that's
construction.
independent of the storm sewer. The storm sewer just is, its design and final acceptance of the whole.
Okay, but you understand, as he keeps building homes, that keeps producing more water, which is why no building permit should have been done until the storm sewer was completed 40 feet out the back of the neighborhood.
Matt, do you know, was that on the plans to complete that?
Now, I
pipe?
see it, and I'll show you right here. It's on the plat.
Does it actually show a pipe or does it?
It says 40 feet.
It's just a drainage easement.
It
Yep.
doesn't
It's a
act-
40-foot wide drainage easement that
It's
has
not-
nothing to do with,
That's just an
with the
easement.
pipe.
That doesn't mean it has to have a
That-
pipe. It
that's-
could be a drainage ditch.
just like down below there's a 15-foot sewer easement for the sewer
Oh
line.
Why
He's
would
got a
my
pipe
house
in
would
it,
wanna
and
live
he's
next
My
to it?
house is
delivered
for sale.
40 more feet of pipe, so
But-
you
but
guys can
this-
say what you want
well,
to
no,
say.
No, but clarification, this note is a 40-foot storm drainage easement that has nothing to do with the pipe.
The
That
pipe
is
would be on
just
the
an
plans.
easement.
So why would
For
you
the-
Why
want
is there
to
a
live
pipe there
next
and he
to it?
just delivered 40 more
Why
feet
would
of
you want to
pipe?
live next to a drainage ditch?
The county told him.
Well, you wouldn't.
I've got a creek on my property, so.
Well,
Well,
Creeks
it
are
probably
different.
runs, doesn't
Creeks are
it?
different.
Does it
I've got a
run?
drainage ditch in my front yard, so I mean,
So it's,
this is an easement.
we don't always have to require a pipe to be in
Okay,
a
well
ditch.
then
Okay,
make it
that's-
flow. I don't care. I don't care how you do it. Just get it off standing there, which is a DNR violation.
Well, there's-
It's causing mosquitoes, scum. That should not have been done. And it also says that you're supposed to monitor it as houses go up to make sure that the easement.
Where does it say
It's
that?
in here. Hang on, I got them all
There's standing
highlighted.
water in the
She's got
gully behind me
memorized.
too.
I mean, we could sit here and argue all day long. And
Bottom
I know
line,
the commissioners
no-
don't have time for this.
No building permit should have been issued.
And that's if.
I'll go get some popcorn, I got all day.
I
I mean,
want
we gotta get to
butter
the
on
bottom of
mine.
this somehow. We
Exactly.
gotta try to
I
come
think
up with
at the end of the
stuff.
day, we just need to
So-
get this resolved.
So
Either
how
sue him-
how are we gonna get it resolved?
Make 'em
Are you
stop
What are,
gonna-
Eric, what are our options? I mean,
I think our.
I understand exactly where y'all are coming from. I would be frustrated too. I
I don't- in this-
honestly don't know exactly what our options are.
If we've granted a permit to build a home, the building of the home is not related to, the street and all that. It's really a separate person. It's not the same developer and all that. I don't know if I'd recommend saying, you just have to stop until it goes done. I don't know if that's something we can do. Maybe.
So
maybe
this
we
is the
can.
first time I remember this ever happening. So, and we're letting one bad instance maybe dictate other stuff. But we may put that note.
But if you don't stop
we
it,
make
how many
improvements
more
over it.
developers are gonna
Okay,
follow
We
suit?
can stop. There is never another permit issued until something is fixed.
There's only a couple lots left.
Well, that's too bad.
Who's that?
He's got lots he can't sell,
bad.
or he could sell, but he can't build.
Right.
If we could stop future buildings from being started, I don't think we can go to a third or fourth party who is now down the line, who's currently building, have to give him a permit and say, stop. Because they can say, no, I'm not gonna stop.
Well, can you mandate the size vehicles that they're putting on? Kenny made him move a oil tanker off one of the streets because of his CCNR, but yet he doesn't make him keep these big old huge trucks off the streets that are cracking up.
Well, you know, it wouldn't be an issue if we get the street fixed. The builders can come out. The builders can, but get the street fixed. That's what they're
That's-
worried
and That's what
about.
we've been, and it doesn't look like it, but we've tried.
Can I ask
okay?
one more thing from you too, when we're talking about this rainwater and the sewage issue and all that? Because it says that an approved drainage and grading plan has to comply with the stormwater drainage regulations out there. We would like to see where that was done. Where was the approved drainage plan?
It's in the street plans. It's got all that shown in there.
Okay, well,
Now,
we would like to
and
see
that's-
that
again,
because,
that's not on the yards. That's only in, if he's got a
Agreed.
pipe or it'll show the ditch and everything.
agreed, because we got issues again. I've got it standing 2 foot deep next to my house. She's got it behind her
Yeah,
house.
there's water
There's
standing
just
in
so
that
many
gully.
regulations, we felt like that maybe we're just, he's a
What's your-
good guy,
what's
we
your
know
address?
him.
5427.
542.
So if a builder has bought a lot but not started building on it, if he owns it, does that still allow him to, can you go ahead and build in this situation?
I
No.
think if
Does he
he's
have a permit to build?
I don't know that.
Well,
I'm just,
that's the key question. Has he been
permit.
issued a permit? And if he hasn't, he's gonna come and ask for a permit, and we could say, no.
What if there's a lot next to me, that's getting ready to start, and that's on Kenview. Can he build that house?
That's,
Probably can.
that's a separate issue.
Okay, cause
It's
that's
only
not.
Thornridge.
And what I
That's not
have to say
Thornridge.
about all
Okay,
this
'cause
is.
he's a good guy,
We were like
Jeremy.
the third house on Kenview. We moved here when this development was just, and there was a lot of construction and building done on Kenview. It never messed up our street, never. So,
Because the topsoil.
right, so it can be done, and I really think that before we get into the winter months where it can't be done, that somebody light a fire. You know, unfortunately, I don't think Kenny's gonna get the situation with the asphalt company ironed out in any, someone just needs to fix the street, so, because it is dangerous. We all walk, and it is very dangerous to walk that street.
Well, Kenny has partners too, so they all need to be held accountable. You know, supposedly he has partners. I guess his son and daughter-in-law are in their business together.
It's Kaufman.
Yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
May
It'd
I-
be
may
nice
I
if
ask
the
something?
citizens could meet with
Well, how
Kenny
fast
and
can we
hear
make the
this.
stormwater thing happen? Because that's a DNR violation. We shouldn't have to wait on Kenny. That should be taken care of immediately. County said it was a DNR violation.
Who said it was a DNR?
Brad.
Okay. Are you sure he said that?
Positive, because the city's the one that pulled him over when they were looking at the sewer and said, did you see this setting here? And I said, I need to call DNR. And Brad said to me, we have a liaison with DNR. I will contact them. And then he came back down the street and said, we told Kenny to get it done within a couple of weeks. That was June 5th. It's on my phone here, if you'd like to see the.
So, maybe I'm missing exactly what that is you're talking about. Is that like a ditch where it dumps out from a pipe?
Yeah, it's where all the water comes from down the street. We have got 2 culverts, which, by the way, those are, got sandbags in front of them, and there's trees growing out of them, because he doesn't keep those cleaned out. So all that junk is going into the water, nails, rocks, all that. But anyhow, that's supposed to take all the water from the neighborhood through those drainage things and out the back of the neighborhood. And it's not, it's standing right there. And there's so much of it, it's collected 1.5 feet, and it's not going anywhere. Brad said that is 1.5 feet deep to 2 feet deep.
Okay.
We'll get that addressed. Nobody's addressed it.
And that gully behind me, it's gonna have more standing water, because there's 2 houses that are under contract, and they're working on one today. They're starting the basement, so
And
it
that's
all
on
rolls
Thornridge.
downhill. And
Look your address up, just.
And then there's 2 lots that are behind me that, like I said, Turk Construction owns and has not done anything.
are we gonna have any remedies today, or Eric, is this something we need to look at? Schedule a follow-up meeting?
We would love one, if we could
And-
just get some answers.
We just want resolutions.
So I think,
Action.
the best thing for us to do is have a meeting with the developer, find out exactly what the status is on getting the pavement done.
Can we be present?
Might not
I
be a
don't
great
think
idea,
that'd be a
but
good idea.
I-
I think, sorry, Jeff.
I just think if, we need to look at what our remedies are, and if we can talk to him and he addresses some of the stuff, we still have a follow-up meeting, and I think have a meeting with everybody, including him, here and talk about it if we have to.
You know, he probably
So-
can come up with remedies that he'll follow if he's given the opportunity to, you know, so you set the
he's
scenario and you
forced.
say, how can you fix this? And then I think we get more buy-in from him too.
If I could too, Eric, I know you're talking, but we were talking about what you could do to hold him accountable. And in your Rule 7.2, the county director of planning and his or her duly authorized representative shall, upon evidence of any violation of the rules, all the drainage issues, the street issues, can serve an order to cease and desist or correct or remove such violations. Such services to be made by registered mail. So you could issue a cease and desist.
What are we desisting? Ceasing?
The construction,
What, home construction?
yes.
I
Even
think they're
what
talking about
start,
the streets on that. That's referring to the streets, I
Okay,
believe.
okay, the street's not fixed, so cease and desist
We-
the
we don't want him to-
construction.
we don't- He needs to finish them, that's, I guess what
Well,
I'm getting
but
at.
you have an
But you're
alternative.
talking about the homes, I think.
No,
I'm
no.
sorry. This
I'm
right
talking about
here,
your.
This is related to the street construction. So if a builder's not building it to our standards, or they're
Correct.
not doing the correct erosion control or whatever, we can do that.
That's correct, and
Yeah.
he's not.
Yeah.
So you do, and it says you can even have the county prosecutor file a misdemeanor against him. So maybe a lawsuit from you all, or a threat from you all saying, hey, cease and desist this right now. I think a cease and desist letter would work miracles out there.
But a cease and desist means he's not gonna do anything to the road, and we want him to fix the.
I think it's best that we just try to come to a quick resolution to this and get it paved.
Well,
And
can we feel comfortable that's gonna be not another 3 years?
I don't wanna have no one of these meetings with y'all.
I don't blame you. You know, like I said, when people start falling,
I don't
it's,
see
it's.
blood.
I would sell my house to anybody that wants to buy it here today.
Well, we
I'm
had
ready to
emails
be
going back
done.
and forth between
This
Higgins
is-
Asphalt, and
Yeah.
somehow we've got to get this taken care of.
Thank you.
I agree.
We
with-
just, three.
But I have never met Mr. Kaufman.
I did not
Yeah,
believe it,
so
sir.
then
I just
he-
wanted you
you
to
didn't
hear
get-
what's being
didn't get any
said.
land.
He,
huh?
he has never talked to me.
And the other roads that he built were fine, we didn't have any issues. So this issue
Yeah, our
just.
road is fine.
It happened, you know, we dropped the ball in issuing the permits. That's on me, I apologize to you all. Shouldn't have happened. It did because of, you know, we just kinda got a little, you know, I wouldn't say lax, but, you know, people would ask for a permit and the road was, and we all felt that it was gonna be done. We were operating.
We
like it
bought
was
our
gonna be
homes
done.
with the
Well, but-
understanding it was gonna
And
be
they're
done.
collecting our real estate taxes. My real estate taxes is $36.52 a year, which is a lot.
And our
So
county taxes
you
for
add
road,
that
we
with all
can't
the
have no
houses
county
in that
services.
subdivision.
The road and bridge department doesn't get hardly any of that, it mostly goes to the schools.
Well,
But yeah, I mean, it's development, it's expanding, you know, it's.
Again,
but I
But
see why you don't wanna
roads that
stop
pay the
houses,
same-
because of
same
course, the
tax,
real
so
estate
it's-
taxes are
but
gonna come
it's-
floating in too.
this
I
needs to
understand
be-
that.
the road needs
It's all
to be-
about revenue too.
Well, again, we're not trying to be difficult, but when you come here and you build a home, them from Texas, I came from Springfield to be by my grandbabies. You wanna feel comfortable that what you're being told is correct.
Oh,
And my builder.
I would be very, very pissed. Excuse my
Thank you,
language.
that's how I
would be
am.
very, very pissed.
When I fell at the neighbor's curb where it was down 3 inches, that was it from the driveway. I said, that's it, I'm calling, this is crazy.
So I heard one of you mention, you're talking about private road. Are these considered private roads?
Right now, they
Right
are.
now it is, yes.
Thorn Ridge
Is Murray
not-
considered a
Thornridge
private
is,
road
not
where they're
ours.
tearing it up right
And
now?
it's private because it's
So
not.
half
a
of
vicinity?
Murray's private and half of it's
Okay,
not.
I got you.
So would,
That's-
It's only accepted
Would
to
you-
where the construction.
What the
That is
sign
so
says.
crazy.
who would notify?
Half a private road, half a.
It's, I mean, it's kind of misleading,
Who
it's conveyed to the public,
It's
but it's
conveyed to the public,
still
it's just not
private.
maintained.
Who,
by-
who
Maintenance,
conveys it to the buyer?
Yeah. Why weren't there signs put up from you
Because
all?
I was
According
not
to these
told.
regulations, it's supposed to have said, this road is not maintained by the county.
And that was
We,
April
we should have done
15th.
that after the first year.
Yeah.
Will you inform future
The
buyers?
3 houses that are under contract.
Because if I would have known that it was a private road, I would not have closed on it. April 15th,
Of this year,
yes.
yeah.
Well, what needs to happen is the real
They
estate
didn't-
brokers
I
and
mean, I had
everyone
to
needs
call
to be
somebody
notified of that.
To let them
'cause
know that I have.
There's deed restrictions out there.
on
Not,
court.
not any of us knew there were any, and we didn't get any at closing. From Texas, we came from Texas, we got books that thick of the covenants and the restrictions. And the developer went over all of it with us, and we signed a piece of paper that we received it. Here, none of us knew that there were restrictions out there, and I even asked prior to us buying the house, and the real estate agent and broker said, no, there's no covenants out there. Then, so one day after we move in, we find out you can only have 2 dogs and 2 cats. Well, I got 3 dogs. Not because I wanted them, but I wound up with them. They're little, they're sweet. But anyway, Kenny was over. He came over and brought the covenants to us personally 2 months after we closed, because I heard there were some out there. They had never been signed by Kenny. There's no signature on them. So now we
So are
have.
they recorded then?
Yes,
Because
who
I mean,
knows?
I've got my real estate
Yeah.
license too, and it's on me to get you this
They're
information,
recorded.
not the county.
But they
to
didn't
provide
have,
it, so
it's
we-
not the county, it's that development that has these restrictions, but the point is,
Yeah.
we're all buying houses without being informed of
Anything.
private roads
So-
and deed restrictions and everything.
We're also under the same assumptions that you all are, that this road is going to be taken over by the county as soon as it goes through the due process. But we also don't see that the asphalt company and the developer are gonna
Right.
be in a, for lack of better terms, a pissing match for
Right.
2 or 3 years. And
What
so
you do is
I
you
don't
get
know
it
what-
fixed by someone else and then sue the asphalt, that Kenny
I
sue the
think,
asphalt.
to what legal jurisdiction we have to force anything, that's something we're gonna have to talk about.
Yeah, when you
Whether-
find what our
whether
remedies are to
jail
try to
or-
help this
or
along.
See if there's anything. to
Can make
do.
a citizen's arrest.
The county prosecutor would be a start.
Is there a possibility that the county can take the street over now and just fix it, build it, whatever, and then charge Kenny back for it?
That's a legal thing that we'd have to go through, and I can't answer
Well,
that question now, sorry.
I mean, that would be perfect.
Yeah, I mean, that, maybe
He's
that's ultimately
obviously slow danced it and,
Bottom line, guys, we're not trying to be unreasonable. We bought $350,000 to $550,000 homes, and we just want to enjoy our home. I mean, we want our kids to be able to play in the backyard without being picked up by mosquitoes, and we want to be able to walk our dogs
and I
on the
don't want my
street
dog
without
bit
falling
by a
down.
snake.
Yeah, we don't want
Don't have
snakes.
more than 2 dogs.
Yeah.
I don't
You know what he
know.
Well, no,
You let us-
Kenny said
Oh,
our
you didn't get
littlest
a-
dog could be, we'll call it a cat.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
There's
I
what
have-
we're up against.
I have worked trying to get that dog to meow, and it will not do it.
So he's not even following his
When
own
that
rules.
issue came through, they wanted to know about chimpanzees, so get a chimp.
No, as a
I can't.
cappuccino
It's
monkey.
No, what about
Monkey,
goats?
the
You
monkey.
can't
It's
have a
a
goat,
monkey.
you can't have a horse, you can't
So,
have a pony, you
if
can't
we-
have a cow.
If we have a follow-up
Chickens.
meeting, how much time do you think we need to see what some of our options are, remedies are to try to do something? If we do 2 weeks, that way it kind of gives us a timeline that we need to adhere to get the,
2 weeks here at the commission meeting in 2 weeks.
well, 2 weeks be enough.
And I can guarantee you Laura's
Eric,
gonna
can
call.
you?
I mean, I wanna
and
push
email.
Can
them
you
along. Let's try to
address
figure
the
out
water
something, but I
issue
don't know what
beside
our
the standing
options are.
water? That has got to be a priority ASAP. They've got to at least dig it or do something because the mosquitoes are bad.
And the gully behind my house too. Please look at that.
If it's behind your house and you got a neighbor behind you. we
No,
can-
it's an empty lot. They're empty lots.
Again, I
But-
don't think we have any jurisdiction on that. I'm sorry, but I don't think we do.
Because it doesn't connect to the
Yeah, if
road.
there's no, and even if there is a stormwater easement or whatever, if we don't maintain it, and it says in the book we don't maintain those, there's gonna be water that kind of drains through the neighborhood, or the subdivision that the county doesn't maintain, okay, even though it's shown on your plat as a stormwater easement. What that
Okay.
gives you is the ability, if I wanna try to maintain that, because it's causing me some problems, I can go do that even though it might not be on my property, because it's a drainage easement.
So I can have all those trees cut down?
That's.
I'll have to take up a donation
I
because
talked
there's
to,
a ton of them.
I mean, that's, again, that's not something that we're gonna get involved in.
GoFundMe.
We can
And then
hop on some of that equipment that's left all over the roads.
They're
and just go
dead
do
and they're
it
diseased.
ourselves.
It's insane.
We have another closed session, but we will address, I will talk to the health department.
Thank you.
And we will try to come up
Thank you.
with
Can we
something.
paint the curbs yellow? I think that would help.
Write your phone.
Yeah,
number
and that will go through traffic and safety, because I'm on that
I think that would be
committee.
helpful because it's,
So that's something, I don't know if we can add it for,
If
I
it's
know
just
that's
if it's just
simple,
a car
but-
parking issue, we'll just love to hear about that.
okay.
Well, we've done that
Well, I
before,
can
and they
pay
haven't
them.
done anything.
Call mine.
Well, and
Just paint
No,
the
I mean,
curbs if
would
you
it-
Well,
will.
we can do that, yeah.
Yeah,
We
then,
can-
then it
Private
would be a
roads?
violation.
Are for
so.
private roads considered to be like, you could contact 911?
I think 911 or EMS, they can go anywhere.
They go anywhere,
Yeah.
they go
So they will
to
come down our
dirt,
road?
gravel
Oh, yes.
roads, they go
Okay,
everywhere.
As
you
long
can-
as they can
I'm not
find
sure they
you,
could get an
right?
IV in
Yeah.
anybody, because it'd be like this.
You can have there's, let's distinguish between a private road or a road not maintained by the county. So, since you have a platted subdivision, the road right-of-way is dedicated to the public, okay? So that's for public use.
Okay,
So the public can go down there. A private road, if the property was never dedicated, just the issue is we don't maintain it.
okay. So we don't have to drag a dead body to where Murray and that ends, where
Well, if
it's
they're
private
dead,
and
I
where
would
it's
worry.
not.
Have a backyard.
If they're dead, I wouldn't worry about them anyway.
Yeah, well, you know what I'm saying, half dead.
The nurse
So,
comes
Eric,
out in
I
you.
want to mention one thing. I'm all for open government. Believe me, I am. However, when at least two of these three people here get together, we've got to tell the world about it and invite the world to come in. So going forward, if you would like to have a meeting that only included one commissioner, then that can stay in the family, let's call it,
Okay.
all right?
Okay.
So, maybe a meeting in the neighborhood
Okay,
with just one commissioner, and as many neighbors as you want, as many staff as you want, but only one commissioner, then it doesn't have to be broadcast and it doesn't have to be opened up to the public
Sure.
on an agenda and tell the world
That's
to
good.
come.
well, I can tell you, we've
So-
had 2 neighborhood get-togethers, that's how
Okay.
bad this has
Well,
been.
maybe another neighborhood.
With a
together
commissioner.
With, staff and one commissioner.
We'd love to have you out, we barbecue, we,
Okay.
we.
feed ya.
I mean, we really got each other's
We might have to
down.
post it here.
I will tell you what,
What's your
Jeff-
favorite
Jeff
drink?
is the
Drink of choice.
The most knowledgeable when it comes to building and that kind of thing. It is in my district, I am your Western District Commissioner, but you can pick the one that you,
Okay.
or the two that you didn't, to come to the.
And I'm presiding this time. over
Y'all
the
won't
whole
get your
county,
feelings
so-
hurt or anything if
So
one's.
it's something for you to consider.
Okay.
We want the one
Sometimes
that's
the,
full of action.
closer knit,
That's
you-
ready to
you
move
can get
forward.
more done, and, maybe somebody who lives in Wardsville doesn't really care about this, let's put it that way.
Exactly.
So, but right now, they're gonna learn about it. As I say, call your grandkids, tell them that,
We're
Grandma
gonna be
was
on
it.
TV,
Can I-
okay.
And Eric
can I-
doesn't want to meet with us again.
Can I ask a favor or request? So, we made the mistake, I'd like to get past this, we gave a bunch of permits issue, okay? That's done, we admitted that we messed that up, okay? Let's work towards getting it done.
That's all we
So,
care
okay.
about.
So let's put that in the past.
Yep,
I've-
that's all we
you know,
care
so
about. Please
let's-
just help us enjoy our
we're
neighborhood,
gonna
that's
do the
all
absolute
we're
best we
asking.
can, and, we've tried, we have tried.
Oh, we believe you.
But we just haven't gotten to that point.
You know, I guess-
can't tell you how many times Matt's been out there, I've been out there looking at it. I mean, you've had several meetings with the developer, the contractor, a lot of
Got many
conversations.
miles on my boots walking up and
Oh,
down
I'm
that
sure
road.
you
Yeah.
do. I guess me being with the law, it just seems like unless someone gets poked a little bit, Kenny's kind of just resting on his laurels that he knows a lot of people, the builders are surrounding around him, and we just need help. That's all we're asking
We're
for.
committed to doing it, so.
Perfect.
We'll get there.
Okay.
And we'll do our absolute best to get it done.
You think we'll be okay before winter in case there's 6 foot of snow?
Uh,
Are y'all gonna
again-
come get us out of our neighborhood?
Again, I don't want to keep having these meetings like this, so the sooner we can get this resolved, the better. It's better for everybody,
So
Okay.
where does someone get a plat map? I do,
You can buy a book here for $35.
Oh, jeez.
But you may not wanna do, we have plat maps.
If you want a
Is it
copy here.
online? Is
yeah,
it
I just want
online?
a copy
I was
of
thinking.
it. Yeah.
I'd like to
yeah.
have one too.
What's your
I've
email
got a
address?
copy
Or
of
I can-
mine.
If she's got one, I mean, I can,
Well, hers, it doesn't show, it just shows part of,
She needs the older section.
yeah,
The
she
old-
needs the older section.
Looks like
Mine's the
you're on
new.
Kenview.
Yeah, I'm on
Have you ever-
Kenview.
Have any of you gone to GIS?
You can pull
No.
some
I
of
think
those
I
over
have,
on there.
yeah.
You can pull
Yeah.
them up offline.
Okay.
GIS.
Go in by GIS.
Write your
Okay.
email address.
Pop up on your screen and
Yeah.
print it.
Print it,
That's probably
okay.
how we got it the first time.
You
was
can
it?
forward it to me too, unless you want to send it.
We
to both
appreciate
of
your
us.
time. Thank you
I'll forward
very,
it to
very,
you.
very much.
Okay, that's fine.
Didn't want you to think we were a bunch of martini drinking, pain in the neck housewives. We're really
Could
not, I
possibly be.
promise.
Double A.
So if we come out for a barbecue, we're not gonna have martinis?
Well, we,
So what's your
we had
title?
margaritas this time on
Director
Saturday,
of
so.
Public Works.
We do always produce a good
I
cocktail.
really never
So the
had
plat books are also
any problems, so,
online.
but I was
You go to
there before that
colecounty.org,
street one
Okay.
year, so I know
Plat-
what,
It pretty much tells you
and all the
plat books.
construction
Okay,
that went
so we
on
can
our
we see
street,
the
we
new
never
road
had
going in
those
behind us,
issues.
what's happening there?
The
You know what else he
streets have always
threatened us
stayed
with?
good.
He said, if you don't get off me about this stuff, he goes,
Unfortunate.
I'll just build a road
You know
straight
what?
through to
And-
Westview
and that's
Heights,
it.
so
And
you
you
all
know,
have to
Yeah.
live with that. It's like,
Sometimes it
good
takes a little bit
Lord.
more to get Kenny
This guy is really out
motivated.
there.
And
No, we
I
will
like
not have
Kenny.
anything
Thank
on
you very
the
much.
roadside.
he came over to bring the
Oh,
covenants
yeah.
to us and
Okay.
stayed 2 hours.
Okay.
The
And
permit.
even
So we
saw my
can't see
3
that.
dogs, and he
Yeah,
said
that's
that
what
one's
he
gonna
threatened
be a
us with. We'll
cat.
just take you to Westview
You know, so,
Heights.
because I said, we just moved in, now I gotta sell the house, and he said, no, don't sell your
This
house.
is why you get the big money, Dawn.
But that's the biggest issue.
I'm sorry, Dawn, I'm Laura. I
Nobody
didn't-
knows that
nobody
there's
introduced
covenants
you.
out there.
Because I was like, oh,
But the
yeah.
people on Murney burn their
That's all.
trash, but the people.
Oh, she's watched more
that
boring
back
stuff
from
than
my
this.
doesn't burn their trash.
Much
and
more.
can't do that.
Yeah. We got
Yeah,
budget coming up.
Again, that goes back. to-
Yeah, this is probably a lot more.
Right.
Something we can
So-
fix.
And a lot of stuff
Well,
that
we
in
could ask
Turtle
for
Creek has their
chimpanzee, I
own
guess.
covenants, you know, I know that, because they
Capuchin
only
one.
allow 2
Oh,
dogs
that's
and 2
crazy.
cats.
Lucy,
Did
Did
you
you
authorize it?
On that.
You gotta go through the sheriff's department on that. one.
Actually, we
Oh.
moved here when there was only
Gotcha.
about 3 houses on the
Conservation.
market.
So
It was
they got
during the
regulations.
housing
Well, I bet you I
crisis.
may have some crocodigators in
terrible.
my,
I'm sure.
drainage
I have
ditch over
black
there.
Okay,
snakes,
so I'll get a
Okay,
plat.
thank you, Eric.
I'll get a plat to
If
you.
there's snakes, I'm not coming around.
Yeah.
We
Or
have
I'll-
snakes at our house.
I'll-
I guarantee you
We're
there's
on
snakes
bluffs.
at that house on Murney Street.
Just do
People
it.
next door said they see mice and stuff running
I
at
sent,
us.
I sent the
So you're
picture
gonna
of a
forward it
snake
over
I ran
to me then?
into.
Good.
Write your email address.
Why, most men are
there.
scared
You're
of
gonna hate it.
snakes. I don't-
And I'll
I'm
look
fine as
for
long as
it.
it's over
Okay,
there.
it's my first and last name.
Let's go.
But when I look down, it's a foot from my feet.
I will say we probably put our microphone system to the test here. So when
With
you
all
watch
this talking, sorry.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We're testing it apparently.
Okay,
Because we
there we
have new microphones.
And I'll,
Yes.
So we'll
That
see
little
how
white,
that
little
works.
I'll get,
white-
Send it
I'll
to
get
Columbia.
you, I'll try to get you maybe an answer
Well,
on
thank you again.
the goalie or whatever between your house. I'll kind of let you know what we can.
We'll find something.
Okay, I appreciate that, because there are snakes, and I have a miniature poodle, and I don't let her out in the yard unless she's on her leash, because I've seen black snakes in our yard, and, you know, they're coming from that. And it's an eyesore, the trees are dead, they're diseased, and Turk, his answer wasn't too nice.
I know Turk fairly well, and I could see him saying that.
Well, I called him 4 times, he answered me once, so I haven't gave up, and he's, the beauty of it is, no one's gonna build on that for a while, those 2 lots. But his lot causes problems for my neighbor Jack, because it's, you know, the water and it's undeveloped, so it's just a mess.
And so they have to cut out all the walls.
We'll see what we can do.
But he can't build now, so if you stop the
I like my
permits.
house.
So I wanna have 2 houses right behind me for a while.
Hopefully we can get it resolved.
No, I know, I'm just being funny. No, I appreciate it.
Okay.
I don't think any of us slept real good last night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Get something, hopefully we don't see any more,
Yeah.
get it resolved.
See each other on a more pleasant note. Okay, Laura, go. Yeah, I rode with her, so.
Thank you guys.
Wonder if it's raining.
Something resolved.
Wonder if it's raining. Can they contact the individuals that have the houses under contract, or?
And she drew in a whole.
Can you look off this?
No, I
We
have.
still got more meetings.
I don't know
Yes,
who the buyers are.
I
but-
think they
but what
should
I'm-
know, but-
What I'm trying to say is, you know, my husband, and we're not being recorded, right? Still?
Oh,
Okay.
I told him.
My husband passed away in September. I need to be able to trust the system, right? The reason why I moved there, and I don't really want it to be broadcast, right?
They're still there.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah,
But
and
I need
I
to
was
be-
with HCA in Texas for 24 years. I
need to
don't
be
move around. The only time I go, I do not drive
You know,
out.
over.
Get me, got me, because I do not want to go somewhere else and learn your system, you know? And HCA is a very good system to work for. St. Mary's was very nice to us when we last stayed.
It's
Who was the
really,
hot dog?
I think,
Oh, God,
you only got- you only got-
1999.
Oh, 99, all that stuff.
And so she didn't know my
That's
sister.
the airport.
So she
No,
she would live with
John,
Yeah, John.
I said,
it started with a, anyway, it was,
my sister.
We were kind of rotating.
yeah, that's right, there was a, but that's, you know, HCA was that, we just used to see a lot of movement, usually it's up in a lot.
Yes, right,
Yeah,
yeah.
so, yeah.
It's pretty profitable to be a hospital. Got the administrator at the top.
Oh, yeah, you got that right. Yeah.
Dawn, do you want to be
I have an
done?
issue with University
There
of
we go,
Liberty
said you're
basically
close.
usurping all healthcare throughout.
I'll make a motion to go into closed session for
I've turned my head.
real estate, section 610.02, 1 subsection 2.
And it's scary
Second.
when.
Roll call.
Oh, there's her.
Sam.
Yes.
Football, basketball.
Jeff.
Yes.
Harry?
Harry.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you,
I
Sam,
was
Jeff,
just
Harry.
kidding so I could turn off the.
Nice meeting you.
Please.
Our-
I need to-
Bye.